right now. I'm gonna put it in the chat. So we are technically live right now, but here.
Okay.
Do you have access to the chat?
Yeah.
Okay, I just sent it to you.
Perfect. All right, I'm gonna post it in my stories.
And then we'll have the YouTube chat, and people can comment on it, and we can answer their questions if they have any.
Oh, live?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, cool. Here, wait. Let's take a picture of us that I could post in
Okay.
the story. Okay, ready? One. Let's see how that goes. Going live. All right. And let me grab the link. Oh, okay, cool. Here, wait.
Yeah, we're live.
Sweet.
Okay, and the chat is up. So we are good to start. I'll tell Brad to cut this part out.
Okay.
It will live on YouTube for a little bit though, right now. Like,
That's cool. Yeah.
let me know when you're ready and we'll start.
Okay, let me tag you.
That's Ashley's Kitchen and Locks of Laughs, please.
Okay. La la la. Sorry, Brad.
I know I feel really bad, but it's fine. I
It's
mean,
not
we had that minute with Peter last week where he like got up in the middle.
Yes, I know, exactly.
I actually have to give the timestamp to Brad to tell him, like.
Oh, great. Okay, so we're going live and click. Let me just put the link. Click to watch. Okay, cool. Boom. Story.
Look at my cute little curly cute.
I know, huh? Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, right.
Kristen Moss.
Thanks for having me back. I mean, after the last one, I'm like, oh, did I ask?
No, the last one was amazing. You didn't like it?
Asking too many prime questions to Peter.
No, I'll be honest with you. I actually was happy about that because
good. Okay.
I wanted to, but I didn't want to come off as if I was prying, but I also wanted answers to like the hot questions.
Right,
Having
right,
said
right.
that, I actually toned it down when I realized it seemed like he wasn't as into answering VPR questions as like maybe you and I wanted him to.
Right.
So I toned it
Which-
down a little bit. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, let's talk about you.
We gave him some chances, but that was fun. That was really fun. So thanks for having me back.
Oh my God, thank you for coming. I love talking to you because I love reality TV.
I love talking to you because I just like your energy and your personality.
Thank you. No one's ever said that before, ever. People hate my personality. No, I'm kidding. I don't know why I said that. No, my husband hates my personality.
I think that's just marriage.
Yeah, that's just, are you, how long have you been married?
Coming on 8 years.
Mazel, long
Thank
time.
you. Our
Long
anniversary
time.
is Sunday, April 6th. Yeah.
Stop, what are you doing?
Yeah. Actually, we're going out on Friday night, probably hanging with the kids on Sunday.
And your kiddo, one of your kiddos is sick right now. I feel like every time
He's
we
just-
record,
He's just, yeah, it's one of those things where I didn't send him like daycare, but I brought him to my gym and put him in the daycare here. He's not sick, but he just has like a runny nose. He'll be fine for an hour. Yeah. He likes it here.
I want to jump right in, but before we do, are you noshing on anything right now? I'm just noshing on water. I am parched.
Starbucks.
What's your order? I love Starbucks.
I do too. Well, so the oat milk shaken espresso, like the brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso is my thing. But in the wintertime, I like it hot, so I get a brown sugar latte. And it's the same, but hot. And it's really good.
I don't think I've ever gotten a brown sugar latte. Like, is it
I just
syrup
made
or
it
they
up.
just, Oh, you made it up. Oh, okay. I was
Like,
like,
can you do, instead of a vanilla latte, can you do brown sugar latte? All right. And here we go. Here we are. This is my new order.
wait, I'm gonna try. I'm going to try that. I
Try it.
love Starbucks.
Yeah, me too.
I'm one of those, like, I guess they call me basic, but I love, like, I think those are the best lattes out there.
I know. And in the little town that I live in, there were not many like cafes like that even make espresso drinks. So Starbucks was pretty much it. After I moved down from like central LA, the Grove area, and now I'm in
Oh.
San Pedro, which is like this tiny little family town, but
Mm-hmm.
not much
You're
coffee.
currently in San Pedro?
Yeah, that's where I live is San Pedro, which is like a coastal town between Palos Verdes and Long Beach. It's cute.
Now, is that hard as a casting director for reality TV to live sort of outside of the mecca? If we're talking about something like VPR or like Bravo or something like, where a lot of the
Right.
shows take place in Hollywood.
Well, funny enough, when the pandemic hit, so when I started my career in casting, I got started because I was a recruiter in Arizona, and then I moved to LA. I was like, I'm gonna try. I hate hospitality at this point. Like, I was over it. That was my life for 10 years. And I found casting. I'm like, let me give it a shot. And I moved to LA. And at the time, it's all gig work, and it still kind of is. And so for 8 weeks, I'd be going into Burbank. And then for another 8 weeks after that, I'd be driving to Santa Monica every day to go to like the GSM studios, or I'd be going out to work at Fremantle in Burbank, or I'd be going to work at a casting company in the Valley, so I didn't know where I was going to be working any time. And it would be
Wait,
like
really?
2 month stints. Yeah.
And this was all for casting different reality shows. So like people would come in as if this was a scripted audition, but it was really for reality TV. That's wild to me.
In the very beginning, we were doing in-person auditions. So one of my first jobs was with Casting Duo with Randy Bernstein. Everybody's made their way through Randy. He's amazing. He does so much. Follow Casting Duo if you're looking for, other reality shows. But he was in the middle of Hollywood, so I was brand new, walking past like the characters going to work, the stars on the sidewalk, and going
Stop.
into the
Oh,
Ivar, like.
God.
Yeah, it was really cool. And we were bringing people in to audition. We had an audition space, and I was one of the associates writing down the notes while the producer was interviewing. Erin Tomasello was one of my first casting producers. I learned so much from her. But then it slowly shifted into doing virtual auditions. So even before pandemic, we were doing auditions over Skype at the time, which was not very user-friendly. Now we've all switched to Zoom, which is very user-friendly. You can record. So we could meet anybody from anywhere. We didn't have to limit it to a location, or we didn't have to fly out. I flew to so many places. I was like a brand new casting associate, flew to Chicago, flew like all these places to meet these people in person. And then all of a sudden it was like, wait, virtual auditions can be a thing and you still get their personality. So it all switched to that.
What does an audition for reality TV, at least the first one, what does that encompass? Like, can you walk us through that? Because as someone, as a lover of reality TV, I love to watch it. I hope to be on a show one day. It's very intriguing. I've been in the audition room auditioning for scripted TV and film, but never for a reality show. So I have no idea. Like, do you read from an out? What do you fake like a fight? Like, how does that work?
So I've worked in a lot of competition series. So I have done a little bit of docu-series stuff and even some stuff on my own that I've like worked in development, trying to develop docu-series. But I'll take you to like a competition series type interview. So
Okay.
basically, I mean, if we're looking for competitors, it doesn't matter if it's a cooking show, a dating show, a like mud run type survivalist show. We want to find out who these people are, what their story is, what makes them tick, why are they competitive because of like previous historical competitive nature within them, and why they want to do the show, why they want to win the show, what they would do with the money. So we typically, like the casting director, the person who's in charge of the casting will have kind of a series of questions that we have as a guide. But of course, if it goes off on tangents, we even love that more. But we'll have a guideline of questions. If it's a cooking show, they're geared towards cooking. If it's a dating show, it's geared towards, what's your type and
Previous
who are you?
relationships and things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, the way I always start out, and actually I do offer consultations with people who just like kind of need to know what they need to know, like this, like
Right.
where do I even start? How do I get a callback? How do I get an audition? So I do help people from literally filling out the application to having a phone call to getting to that on-camera audition spot, like place. And it's more like everyone has a story. We've all lived. We've all done things in our life.
Yeah.
If you haven't done anything, you better get living if you want to be on the show. But
Right.
we're,
Like mental
we're on
note.
Earth.
Make
Right.
memories. Got it.
We're on Earth. So it's a matter of like seeing your life in the unique way that the audience would look at you and say, wow, look at that person. Oh my gosh, like how cool is that person? Here's their caricature, essentially.
Like, so what makes a reality TV star or icon, like the Bethany Frankels of it all? Like, what makes someone just completely stand out, or not even so much stand out, but get to a place where they've like I don't know, have become so iconic?
It's sometimes the it factor. I mean, we all saw Bethany when she broke out on Housewives, and you're just like, where did this woman come from?
Yeah.
She always has a line. She's always got something to say. It's always fascinating. But we all know people like that. Not all of them want to do reality TV, but reality TV like works because there are people like that just walking amongst us. Like you know what to say. You have like a quip or like something to say about everything. But also I think you don't have to even be that quick, but you do have to know yourself. Like you have to know when you draw the line, what that looks like, and be able to almost communicate that. Like I had a consultation yesterday and the woman was so sweet and she had this awesome story of overcoming so many things in her life, and she was very competitive and she does mud runs and she does all these things, but she just had a smile and a smile and a smile, and even talking about the hard times, smile, smile, smile. And I was like, listen, you need to see that those things like have an effect on you, and that you're allowed to be vulnerable. We want vulnerability.
Right.
If you're just going to have a smile the whole time, even when you're getting into an issue, possibly with somebody else, or somebody does hit that line with you, what does that look like?
Yeah, like
You need
that's
to know
not
before you get cast,
right. Like that's not entertaining, right? I mean, it's entertaining, but it's not like reality TV gold where I'm not saying we all have to see like a drink thrown or a table,
No, not at all.
but we want to see some form of an obstacle, right? Or like an achievement.
Yeah, and I think it's a matter of someone knowing who they are and standing up for themselves and speaking their mind and being themselves fully and authentically, and not being afraid to say that thing that might get them in trouble, or say that, weird off color thing that might hurt somebody's feelings, but it's truly how they feel
Right.
in the moment, because that person just hurt their feelings and they're allowed to talk, have a conversation back a little bit. So
Well, I just want to say that someone named Wick is saying that is terrific advice.
Oh,
So you're
thanks,
already your consult. This is a consultation. Like, what is it?
Yeah, let's
consult with me. Like, can you tell
consult with
me?
you.
Okay.
So what I typically do, and the reason I offer consultations is because I'm literally getting hit up all the time in my DMs, asking questions. How do I get the first phone call? How do I fill out this answer? How do I do this? And I'm like, okay, I could spend all this time like individually answering these questions, or I could meet with somebody one-on-one,
Right.
talk to them, give you an hour, I record it, I send it back to you, so you have it forever, and I just offer you a little bit of advice. I can answer any question that you have and that kind of stuff. So, but how I typically start out is,
Okay.
tell me, like, let's start at the beginning. So how did you grow up? Mom, dad, brothers, sisters, in the city, in the country? Like, just tell me a little bit about your upbringing, because to me that always like gives a little bit of insight. So go for it.
Okay. I grew up in both the city and suburb. My parents got divorced when I was 4 or 5. I think 5, but it's hard to, say specifically. I'd have to get the year from them.
Right.
I don't even know if they remember at this point. They probably do. They're weird with stuff like that. I I'm from Manhattan, but I didn't grow up watching, like, I think The Real Housewives of New York came out when I was like 13 or 14 or something, and I didn't watch it until I was in my 30s. And I don't know why, but I was like, you know what? It's just not interesting to me at that age. And then, I don't know, I turned 30 and I was like, I'm going to give it a go. And I'm obsessed, like,
Right.
obsessed. How did I grow up? I have an older brother. I have 2 younger step siblings. My older brother was always considered, the book smart one. And I was street smart. And I say that with quotes because that's exactly what was said to us directly to our faces. And I don't want to say by who. It was a family member, not our parents. But Philip Philip is my brother's name. I hope he lets me actually say his name.
Talk about you. Talk about him.
He was considered book smart and I was street smart. But I got better grades than him. So but it was just that he was always reading in public. Like he could read in the car and not get nauseous. So on every road trip or every time we were on the bus, he was always reading. And I get sick if I look at the window. Yeah, if I stand up too quickly here in my kitchen, I will get sick. So I was not reading on public transport. But yeah, that's.
So do you feel like you grew up quickly? Like, do you feel like from 5 years old, like here you are, you're living in 2 different places, like you're riding the subway, you have your brother to compete against. Like, is this like you growing up quickly from 5 years old on? Did you just kind of like get the world around you?
Not from 5 years old on.
No.
I think I was still, I don't know, I think I was still sort of, not naive, but just sort of, yeah, I was young. But as I got older and like girls got meaner, I went to an all-girls school up until 8th grade. In 9th grade, I switched to a co-ed school. And I think that definitely bullying had a huge effect on me. Huge.
Wait, so were you bullied?
Oh, yeah. Hardcore.
Oh my gosh.
It was horrible. I switched schools. And
because of the bullying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
But I will say this. One of them actually came back about 8 years ago, reached out to me. She had moved to LA and she apologized. And she said she always felt really bad, but didn't want to go against the other girls because then she would be the one bullied. And now we chat. We follow each other on Instagram. We chat, every now and then.
Was that validation that you never knew you needed, or
yeah?
Does it
oh, for sure. I mean, I feel like it definitely was. It was validation, but it was also kind of tragic in a way because not for me, but just thinking I know what I've carried, right?
Yeah.
From my childhood or from my teenage years. It's wild what someone who sort of inflicted the pain in ways would also carry that.
Right.
So that was a weird understanding. It also came at such an odd time in my life. I think we were both going through weird breakups, and then all of a sudden she was like I think I was going through a breakup from the week before, and the day she and her boyfriend broke up, she was like, hey, I've been thinking about a lot of things, wanted to reach out. And then we got together. I was like, why don't you come over? Let's hang out. You live she lived an hour away from me in LA. And I was like, why don't you just come over and we'll talk? And yeah.
That's awesome. But it also it shows the strength. If I were you, so going back into this casting world, if I were you, I would almost lead with, and I know it's tough and hard, but I can overcome anything. I was bullied as a teenager in my pubescent years, and I've come out on top. I can stand in front of a crowd and I can talk about my life. I am capable of being in a room with anyone and facing them. Because if you think about a competition series, those are your competitors. So
Sure.
if you can, like if you could face and break bread with your worst enemy, you could face and break bread with anyone and have that moment, or like at least, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, just going off of what you're saying, I honestly wish that I had found that like chutzpah within earlier, in my early 20s. Maybe I wouldn't, like, who knows where I would have been because like, yeah, now I do stand-up comedy. I can talk about like all my woes and whatever and make a joke of it on stage, and I love it and it's so
Yeah.
fun. But I wish I had taken that leap or that chance or had the ability to when I was younger than I am now. Not to say I'm not like old, whatever, but I'm
No.
not 23. So
Yeah.
I wish 10 years ago I had given myself the opportunity to do that, because that would have been really awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like.
But at the end of the day, I mean, I met a 45-year-old guy who had lost like 200 pounds a year prior and was running Spartan races. Like, it's never too late. There was a woman that I met who in her 60s went back to nursing school and became a nurse and was a nurse for 20 years. Like,
Oh,
it
I
was
love
like,
that.
there are people out there who can start life when they're ready. When life is ready for them, when they're ready for life, that's when it starts. So like, it's never too late. And believe me, we all have regrets. We all look back at life and say, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. But like,
Right.
looking at that stuff and thinking, oh, I wish I did it. Well, where are you going to be in 10 years if you don't start now?
Right.
So if you don't start now, in 10 years, you're going to be like, damn it, I actually had the chutzpah and I didn't do
Right,
it.
and I didn't do
Whatever,
it. Right, yeah.
So, just another thought.
Is this a therapy session, Kristen? Because
I can tell you that when I interview people, and if and when you guys make it to an interview with a casting person, it's going to feel like a therapy session, because we're finding out
everything.
the things about you that make you tick, and sometimes you don't even know what makes you tick.
Everything makes me tick. Someone breathes too loudly next to me, and I'll become suicidal. Like everything. Like,
Well, okay,
I
let's
have
talk about
misophonia. Like loud chewing, heavy breathing. Like,
So are you going to be the one rolling your eyes, like if you're like in a competition show? Let's say what would be your ultimate competition show that you'd be on, or ultimate cooking show, or what would be the show that you'd want to be on, competition wise, not
maybe the
documentary.
Great British Bake Off.
Oh, well, I think they're casting the American one right now. P.S.
But I wouldn't. I don't like. I don't. Maybe I have the chutzpah, like the inner chutzpah, to do it, but I don't know that I have like the talent to do that. Like, I think I'd get kicked off right away.
Well, and there's so many people who think exactly what you're thinking, and then they don't even try. So I always say, don't think you're not good enough before anybody even tells you you're not good enough.
Just wait for them to say, like, hey, you'll never make it.
Yeah, but really, so I worked on MasterChef, which is a home cooks competition show.
I love that.
And I worked on MasterChef Junior, which is the same, it's for kids. And there's a lot that they kind of like train you, like there's a little bit of training there. They want you to be good. They don't want you to fail. So they're going to give you like insight on how to make a souffle, and then it's up to you to actually deliver and make sure it comes through. I don't know how the other ones work, but I'm assuming that if it's a home cooks or a home baker competition, they're going to give you like the ingredients to succeed, and then under the pressure and under the lights and on the camera and whatever, and then now you have to actually do it. But they're not going to want you to just sit there and be like, I have no idea what to do. That wouldn't be fun at all.
What do you say to those people on like TikTok and Instagram that sort of say, oh, reality TV is all fake. They just try to plant like a really big issue and they try to get everybody to fight. That's not real. Or if it is real, they did it on purpose. Like, what do you say to those critics?
The naysayers. I mean, so again, with the competition series, like it is what you see. Yes, there's plenty that happens that ends up on the cutting room floor, because you just can't shoot a 10-hour day and have it all end up in an episode. But those people are really putting themselves out there. They're really in a competition, and there are rules. So it's not fake in the sense of like somebody's winning because of XYZ. However, it's also television. It's entertainment. Oh, look, somebody was on MasterChef in their country in Dominican
Yeah.
Republic and made it to top 4. Wow, that's not easy.
What's your name, Myth Rander? That's your screen name or whatever, your handle. What is your screen name? What year is it? That's your AOL screen name. Wait, that's so cool. You made it to top 4. Mazel mazel.
That's amazing. See, and
Wow.
how good of a home cook were you before you even auditioned? Like, were you just kind
Yeah.
of cooking for your family, or were you did you do everything from baking bread to making cheese to, you know, I don't know, sous videing, or did they teach you some of this stuff on set? I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it, but I feel like
That's a
that's at
very,
least.
very interesting question.
Now
I,
the
I
other,
actually want to know that answer too.
yeah, let's see if they reply. But the other thing too, so if you look at docuseries, now a docuseries like your Housewives and your Jersey Shore
I
and
feel
all of
like
that.
that's where I would like thrive, like in a
Okay.
docu-series.
If you went to the New York City prep school, like you said you did,
Right.
there's a show casting right now, and that's going to be a docuseries. I don't know any of the details, but you might want to reach out to Wildside because they just posted about it.
Possibly, possibly.
You never know. You never know. But so, okay, you look at a show like that. There is there's huge team behind those shows. They do not just show up at work one day at SUR and see what happens. There is a
There's
lot
like an
going on.
outline and a call sheet, right?
We have outlines, we have, we have locations, we have to get permits, we have to know where people are, we have to, know the storyline ahead of time, know who you want to like interview about what during what point. I mean, I've never worked behind the scenes, but I have friends who are story producers, and then not only what happens after they've already set it up, but then what did they get on camera? Because it's not always going to be what they prepped
Right.
for.
And I think that's where the confusion lies, in that if there is a story producer and someone that's sort of like building this season, therefore building each episode with storylines, how is it real and not fake if the before I'm just coming up with a name, before like Flower and Rose meet in person,
Right,
why
right.
are they fighting in episode 3 because it's on the wall, even though they haven't met yet, but it's already on the, does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, no,
how is that?
I think they set up the locations, they set up the scenario to put two people who already maybe have an issue in the same place at the same time. Where like, if it were me or you, and it was like the new girlfriend of your ex-boyfriend is gonna be at the same place as you probably just wouldn't go.
Right,
Well,
right.
they're
But
working.
you have to, right? You
They
have
signed
to
a
if you want to be
contract,
paid, right?
they have to be there. So like, it's kind of like that, I mean, well, listen, getting a docu-series is not easy. Getting the right types of people who may not have the same beliefs in the same room and forcing them to be around each other for months at a time is going to cause conflict, and sometimes you don't know what it is. Did you know that at the end of Vanderpump Rules, the season when everybody found out about the Scandival,
Oh yeah,
cameras were down.
that's
The
right.
season was
Yeah.
done. They had stopped filming, and everybody went back to work. I spoke to one of the executive producers. He's like, we all went back to work within 3 days. We were like, we have to get this.
So were they
So,
paid extra, like on top of the season they
yeah,
filmed?
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody had to go back to work. I mean, they
Yeah,
could have
right.
literally they could have been booked on something else. A lot of us have to just like bounce from show to show to show, and you're booked as soon as you wrap. But in this case, they had to bring them all back out. I mean, they were in post, so the ones who were like mainstays there were going into post-production and starting the editing process, but they had to get cameras back up.
I want to go back to VPR, but first I have to say Myth Randier responded.
Oh.
Huge fan of yours, Thomas.
Oh,
Thomas
thank
is his
you.
name. Huge fan of yours. And he writes, such an amazing professional, you. I was just a regular guy, mostly fermenting at home in the mountains. I live in the middle of nowhere as a hermit, so being on, oh no, it got cut off. It got cut off. Keep writing.
Keep writing.
We wanna know
Thomas.
more. But okay, as Thomas continues to write,
But I love that. Wait, can I just quickly plug also just really quick what I'm working on right now? Just in case, because if people are listening, I want people to apply right now. Because I'm working on a WhatsApp campaign. It's a WhatsApp podcast, actually. Funny enough, we're on a podcast.
Oh, okay.
So WhatsApp has a podcast. They're casting seasons 2 and 3, and we're looking for people who are in WhatsApp groups together. And WhatsApp wants to just like basically talk to them about their experience and how they make connections in WhatsApp with other people. So one of the seasons is going to be groups of men on WhatsApp, and like how do men share their like intimate, feelings about the world potentially, or like if they're going through family issues in their friend group, and like how these people have been supportive of each other. So we're looking for that for one of the seasons. And for the other season, we're looking for fandoms. So whether it's like, and that can be men and women, and we're looking for people who are like huge fans of a TV show, or huge fans of a sports team, or huge fans of a, hobby, climbers, that kind of thing, and how the WhatsApp fandom allowed them to meet these other members of their group. So
amazing. Okay,
and form
thank you
these
for plugging that.
relationships, because WhatsApp is a great way to form relationships. So there is the link in my bio. It's the first flyer on my site if you go to Reality TV Casting Calls.
Perfect. Okay,
thank you.
everybody do that at Reality TV Casting Calls. First
Yes.
link in her bio, okay?
Thank you.
I love the like mid-episode plug.
It's like a commercial.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. Oh, okay. So Thomas is responding. He said the show was super strange. He was almost cast for Squid Game. Really? For Squid Games? Oh, Squid Game, The Challenge, season 2 last
that's
year.
the reality Squid Game. Mhm.
Okay. He says, I guess I'll try next year again. Always on the lookout for opportunities. So if you ever have a global show, I'll be on the lookout. Keep up the amazing work. Kristen, you have a huge fan in Thomas.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Thomas.
Wow, that's so beautiful. I love that. Thomas, thanks for listening.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so Kristen,
Fun.
now I want to go back to VPR a little bit, because as you know, I love Vanderpump Rules, love Peter, love Sheena.
Yes.
Now, since you brought up Scandival,
Okay.
how do you think, as a reality TV expert and casting director, how do you think that was handled? Not so much by Bravo, but by the people on the show, i.e. Sandoval, Sheena, of course, Rachel, and maybe Andy Cohen. Like, how do you think, or even anybody, Ariana Lala, like, how would you have handled it the same way? And if not, what would you have done differently?
I mean, I hate to say it, but something like that is kind of a production's dream, where the real, actual drama is happening. Like, there is the real, actual drama, but like, this had been happening. Like, this was something that was now worldwide news, and that doesn't always happen. Like, there's a lot of reality out there. There's a lot of options. There's scripted. There's so much content out there to absorb these days. And that made headline news for months. So I think
it was like a true crime thing. People were trying to go over timelines
and like digging in, and there were like
wild
podcasts for that specifically. I mean, there was so much funny. The Viall Files, Nick Viall, just had on as a guest, and I have to watch it. But like,
he doesn't. I don't think he really likes Tom. He said
well, that's why I'm curious, because I feel like I've heard him talk about him before, but like, I don't know what he said.
I listened to the Viall Files. I actually think it's a good podcast. I think he does a really, I mean, he's had his podcast a lot longer than I have, but I think he does a really good job of being respectful when asking maybe inappropriate questions. But he does have a show. He does have to like gain, have traction. So I respect it. I think he's got
to ask the hard-hitting questions. I mean, he has to ask the questions people want to know the answers to.
Yeah, we tried with Peter.
Right. Right. So here's my take. Aside from like the hurt and all of the everything that had to go down in order for that scandal to come out, and that it did have to come out, look at Ariana's life now. She got rid of the boyfriend who wasn't for her. She is now the host of Love Island. She's been booking like
Broadway.
people love her. We wanted her to host our award show, and like rightfully so. She was so out of our price range. She is living it up. I mean, I hope from her perspective she's living it up, but it looks like she is. She was in Fiji filming Love Island. Like, to me, yes, like the hurt and pain of a relationship ending is gotta be the worst thing that happens to someone in their life. And then it had to happen so publicly is like adding so much on top of it. But to me, like the outcome, and even for both of them, I feel like now Tom was on Traders and people are kind of like, oh, you know, he's just a dummy, like guy that had to go through that, but like he's kind of lovable. Like for both of them, it had to happen, and it happened in a really bad way. But at the end, like it happened, and now here they are on the other side and living the life maybe they were always supposed to have.
So how do you feel about how Rachel was treated?
She was definitely the whipping post, but at the end of the day, like she had to learn that lesson too. That is girl code.
Yeah.
Like you have to learn that lesson in life at some point, that you don't sleep with your friend's boyfriend. It's like
while they are
like, if you're going to do it in such a public way, then you're going to be called out in a very public way. And I'm sorry, I feel like she walked into it by being so deceitful. And, you know, I would never want somebody to like go into like a mental rut over anything, especially on reality TV. But maybe that's exactly what she needed for her life. I don't know where she is right now, but hopefully she is.
I think she's a sound bath instructor in like Arizona. No, I think she's living her best life now. Like I honestly, I think that she is.
Come out of that, and she's like, I don't want to be brought into that world. And I was, you know, she might have been brought in a weird way. Like we don't know what happened and why that happened, and maybe she was just trying to chase whatever she thought she was supposed to be a part of, and she's not supposed to be a part of that anymore. And it all kind of happened.
Wick says you should be called out in a public way. That's horrible. Yeah, I don't think, Kristen, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you were denying that what was done.
I'm saying that it was so public because she was already on camera. So here she is. She knew, I mean, if it was going to be called out, she had already put herself out there publicly. So it was going to be called out publicly because that was where she had been spending her life, was in the public eye.
Right.
So anybody who's involved in a scandal, who's in the public eye, is going to be called out in a public way.
Right.
And again, like now she is doing what she needs to be doing for her life based on all of that stuff. I mean, nobody called her out except for herself. That was all called out because they got caught.
Right. I wonder what would
I feel
happen.
sad for her, but I feel like, again, I think life doesn't happen by accident.
Ooh, that's a really good line. Life doesn't happen by accident. Where did that come from?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if something's meant to happen in your life, it's going to. And
That's valid.
you know, she was being deceitful, and then she had to face
Face the music, right?
yeah.
Yeah, face the good is gold music. Anything to bring up like Vanderpump Rules, I will do it. I will absolutely do it. Would you ever do reality TV as a casting director? Would you ever?
So the only thing I would ever do is like a cooking show, just because I like to cook too. I like to cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a cooking competition show, not just like hosting a cooking
Yeah,
show.
like a cooking competition show, I think.
Okay.
I mean, who wouldn't want to win like $250,000 and
like a Keurig, right? I don't know what they like.
Yeah.
Like, what do they give? A KitchenAid.
I'd be down to win a bunch of money and be on
Yeah.
a reality show for cooking. Yeah.
What's your
that would be
favorite
cool.
thing to cook? Your favorite dish?
Well, I call my cuisine Americanized international because I basically take like, say, carbonara, and then I'll like make it more Americanized by using like bacon instead of pancetta or whatever they use, you know, and like,
Okay.
and then yeah, like I'll make fried rice, but I'll make it my own, and I'll make like a Thai dish, or like a moqueca from Brazil, and like I make it my own,
Do
or
you want to
like
cook
I
for
just
me? This sounds amazing.
my kids actually really like my cooking too, so I just keep going with it. But yeah, I like to experiment in the kitchen, but I do like I don't have all the perfect ingredients to make a chicken curry, but I just do it kind of with what I think is going to be good based on what I do have or what I can find, and put it out there.
Okay. Interesting. So I want to see you on a cooking show.
Well, I'm not auditioning for it yet. We'll
No,
see
but
what
if you cast one, then just cast yourself. Have you seen people do that in your industry? Not so much cast themselves, but sort of try to get ahead in front of the camera by being behind the camera?
I feel like in scripted it happens. Apparently,
Oh, yeah.
Olivia Wilde was a casting associate in scripted, and then she auditioned for one of the roles, which I think is okay in that world. In our world, if you work for a network, you can't be on camera
You can't. It's
No.
not allowed.
in a competition, at least in a competition type series, because you're winning money. So they can't reward or like award somebody. It looks like it would be like a sort of nepotism type of thing. So I could never be on ABC because I'm on the Great Christmas Light Fight. So I think it's like a 5 years since working
Oh,
for the network that
okay.
I could never be on ABC.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have seen, one girl that I work with, she was on Wheel of Fortune, and she's a casting director.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Wheel
she
of
won.
Fortune.
Really cool.
Classic.
Yeah, why not?
How do you feel about these people that are sort of like professional reality TV stars? Like, for example, Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt. By the way, love them. So I'm
Yeah.
not even
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not even saying anything negative about them. I think they're reality TV gold.
Yeah.
But they've been on so many reality shows. They've been on competition shows. They obviously became incredibly famous from The Hills, which is a docu-series.
And he's going to be on Got to Get Out on Hulu.
Right. Yeah. It's like an escape room type show?
I don't know if it's escape room. It's like one person gets the $1 million and everybody has to try to figure out who's the millionaire or something. Erin Tomasello, my original producer who taught me so much. Thanks.
Oh my
Kevin.
God,
Oh, Kevin.
Kevin
Switched off my
Ramirez.
Wix account. Okay, he was the Wix.
He was Wick. Okay.
Thanks, Kevin. She cast that, and I don't know exactly what it is, but it seems really cool.
So what
But
are your feelings on them, like going from show to show? And I want to see them on, like, I want to see them on another docu-series again, because
Oh, yeah.
I'm interested, especially after the heartbreaking fires
Oh
in
my gosh, I
in
know.
LA. I was on. I think I saw almost every single TikTok that Spencer put up.
Yeah, yeah.
Same with Heidi
I know, it was horrible, devastating. And like then they go back to the house, like it's just
yeah, and there's nothing. They were finding pots and pans. I actually reached out to Spencer to come on here. He's too famous for me, I think. I mean, I would love for them to be on. But
yeah,
what do
they're
you
cool.
say? What do you think about people like that are
Yeah. I mean, we actually awarded them with Reality Hall of Fame a couple years ago in my award show. They came.
brilliant?
But so for people just starting out, I always say don't go into any show with the thought that you will now be a mainstay reality person, because again, sometimes it's just the it factor. Sometimes it's like what's casting at the time. Very often, shows do not want anybody who's ever been on a show before. So people who've been on shows before, sometimes we are like, oh, they've been on something, we want fresh faces. Now, it looks like there's a lot of these shows that are taking reality contestants who have made a name for themselves, who have kept their social media up, who have kept themselves in the public eye, maybe became content creators, which you can totally do. If you go on a show and all of a sudden now your following is like through the roof, keep that content going, keep those fans
Right.
going, and you might turn into somebody like that. If you go on a show and now you go home, go under a rock, go back to your like day job, it might not happen for you, but also you kind of have to keep all the balls in the air,
Right.
because you can't just rely on getting the call to be on the challenge, or
Right.
you don't know who's going to get that role. And reality TV is not acting. You're not like seen in so many ways. It's not like, oh, here's my resume of all the reality stuff I've done. This makes me more
Right.
appealing. Sometimes it's like, here's all the reality stuff I've done. It's like, all right, let's give somebody else a chance. Sometimes.
Right. Yeah. I always feel like shows, their first season, except if we're talking about Secret Lives of Mormon Wives on Hulu. I'm going to rewatch that because the second season premieres next
It's
month
coming
in
out,
May.
yeah.
So I have to rewatch it because I had it on in the background as I was doing things, season 1.
Right.
So now I want to watch it and really like understand the friendships again.
Yeah.
But like they were famous on TikTok. I didn't know who they were before the show, but people did. Otherwise
People
there wouldn't
did,
have been
yeah.
a show, right? And right off the bat, they were catapulted. I felt like they were so famous right away. Whereas like I feel like on other shows, for example, Summer House on Bravo, I love it and I watch it religiously now, but I didn't start watching it until it was maybe in its third or fourth season. So I started from the beginning when like the third or fourth season was airing, and I think that might have been during COVID or something. But something, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in COVID. But
Yeah.
I felt like a lot of the people that were on the first season, they're not there anymore and they're not really known. But the people
Right,
that came
right.
in like season 3 or season 4, like a lot of them are doing epic things.
Right. Yeah.
It kind of goes back to what you say. Like you can't go on a show and just think like this is it. I'm going to be Amanda Batula and Kyle Cook. Or
Right.
like you may be, and that would be amazing. But
And it's up to you to keep that going. I mean, you know, but and even actors though too. Like there's people who get pilots every year that don't get aired and they're great actors and they don't like get that hit show maybe ever. I hate to say it. They always say keep trying, keep trying, keep trying, but like it doesn't mean 100% you're gonna really hit it. We hope that the universe wants to give that to everybody, but like I don't know if that always does happen. But it's the same in reality. Like, I mean, there's awesome people who deserve to be on the next big thing, but you know, the networks have their own decisions. So as a casting director, as a casting producer, as a casting professional, we're just in charge of finding the best people to present to the network. It's the network's choice to make the decision of who they want.
oh, that's so frightening because you could love someone and then the network's like, nope, not gonna work. And then their dreams were like about to come true.
And we're so, I mean, like, right. I've been in this situation where I'm like text, like, you're going into background, like, you know, this is like happen, you know, and it could be happening and we're allowed to tell, you know, like this is the stage, blah, 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 and here you are. And then it falls flat and it never happens for them. And it's like, that could be the case. But this is why I started reality TV casting calls, because I'm like, you made it so far. We loved you. Everybody loved you. Like it just wasn't a fit for this one. Find something else to do. Like go audition again. Just because you auditioned doesn't mean you're ineligible for anything else you want to do. So keep looking.
Keep going. You know? Keep doing it. Yeah. Love that. It's scary how many people actually have the power to like make or break your dreams. Do you know what I mean? Or make or break your opportunities. Because there are some people that probably didn't realize their dream was to be on a reality show until the opportunity arose. And then they're like, oh my God, like I can't believe I wanted this so badly. A year ago, this wasn't on my radar, you know?
Funny enough, I met a guy one time and he really wanted to work in behind the scenes of reality TV. That was his goal, his dream, and we were talking about it, whatever. And it came out that he had actually been asked, he had been offered a spot in Survivor, like maybe a year or two prior. I was like, why didn't you take that role? Why didn't you take that? Now you would have been the guy from Survivor. People would hire you as a story producer or behind the scenes. Like I mean, look at Rachel Riley. Rachel Riley is the queen of reality television and she works in casting now and she's amazing at it. And she has such a following and she speaks from the heart. She gives casting tips all the time. She is someone you should all follow if you're looking to be on reality TV, because she has amazing opportunities and amazing experience of
I'm
like
gonna pull up
even
her
doing-
handle right now so we can.
yeah, pull up her handle because everybody should be following her. She knows exactly how to get on reality TV and how to stay on reality TV. She's someone who just keeps getting booked, but she's also someone who's not afraid to speak her mind. She is herself fully and authentically, and she puts herself out there, and she's not afraid to like ruffle a little feathers to get her way, get what she needs. Like, at the end of the day, it's a competition show.
Right.
That's the point. You want to make it to the end, and you want to win.
I'm trying to find her handle.
It's Rachel, I believe. Let's see.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think I found it. I think I found it. Is it Rachel Ereilly?
Villegas.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Rachel
right.
Riley Villegas. Yeah.
All right. Why don't
actually doing a
everybody
cruise-
go to
cruise.
at reality TV casting calls and then go to the following and type in Rachel, because it's a very long handle and I don't want to get it wrong. But I also see that you are following someone that I have had on the pod, Lisa Zambetti,
Oh,
casting
yes.
director.
Oh my God, I love her. I was on
love
her.
her.
I was on her podcast.
Wait, I did. Which one? Because she's had a few.
Which one was it?
Well, that's okay. I love Lisa Zambetti. Shout out Lisa Zambetti.
Shout
Lisa
out.
Zambetti Casting is her handle, and I love her. She is a great acting coach and casting director.
I actually
And
was just chatting with her the other day because she's doing this 3-week intensive coming up.
I saw
Like,
she posted something
it looks
about it. Yeah.
amazing. Good for her. Like, and that's, she has the skills, she has the knowledge, she has like the history and the pedigree, and now she's sharing. To me,
No, she's
that's
amazing.
amazing. Yeah.
I took a few workshops from her. I did some in person, and then I did some during COVID, like via Zoom. And she also coached me on some auditions, not for reality TV, for like acting.
Yeah.
And we saw like one of the Scream movies together. She loves horror movies just like I do. So like that was so fun. She's awesome. I love Lisa. I just didn't realize it. I was going through your who you were following just now to find Rachel Riley, and I was like, wait, no way! Like,
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, she's awesome. I've met her a couple times in person. She's in CSA too. We were at this picnic on the beach one time together, and she's awesome. But it's so funny because, yeah, me offering the consultations, like acting, like casting directors in scripted offer coaching sessions and audition sessions all the time for actors. I don't see why we in reality couldn't offer the same for real people who really just want to get their chance and their opportunity to be on screen. Like, I want to do more of it. I want to offer more of it. I have one seminar that I did with Alicia Norris, who's like my shining star, pride of everything. Like, if I could just keep her on with me forever, like that's where we want to be. So we have that available if anybody wants to watch, like for the whole, like from like filling out the application all the way to the end. But
now you've
just
mentioned
insights.
the application. What is that? Because I think for actor, there is no application for
no,
actors.
there's no application.
What do you mean? There's like, are you saying there's a form that people can print out and fill out and then
Well, it's
like
all, thank God, digital these days.
yeah, well, I don't know why I said print out. I'm thinking like
Everything, but yeah.
okay.
Well, if you go to the first link in my bio, that's where like I put, and it says these are not all my casting calls, so people reach out, oh, you're casting this, you're casting that. No, this is just where I put them all so that they're easily clickable, because you can't click on anything on Instagram. So in order to get the application links, you can go to the link in my bio, and that's where you can get the link to the application. The application is really, really important, because if you're not selling yourself on digital paper and we're reading about you and it feels like paint drying, we might not even give you a phone call. And
So don't use ChatGPT to answer these questions.
well, you can, but just make sure ChatGPT, you say, make it fun, make it flair, make it
Right.
happy, make it like funny or whatever. Ideally, you're speaking in your own language, but if you're not good at grammar, then use ChatGPT, because that could also hurt you.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If the grammar is off, does that piss you guys off as casting?
I mean, I think that pisses me off in general. Like,
Me
even
too.
in
I hate-
texting, like, one word, like one sentence with no punctuation
Hate
telling
it.
me that you went to, I'm like, this is not something I can read.
My mother-in-law does
So,
that, and I hate it. Like, she
oh, really? I'm
talks
like, I don't know
to text. I
how.
hate that.
Oh, okay.
I
Maybe it's the
hate
top text. That's how it happens.
I
But
want to read Kevin's question because this seems very important. And he writes, how important do you believe networking within the casting community is to get casted or cast?
I mean, I think that if someone sees your name a lot and someone is looking at you, they know who you are, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, the show you're casting right now, it's a perfect fit for me. I'm going to apply, or I applied. I recommend hitting them up after you've applied so that we can then go and find your application instead of like, I'm going to apply and then like expecting us to remember to go back and find you specifically. But after you've applied, and I've said this even to people that I consult with or people in the back end of my DMs, after you apply, let me know, and then I can find your application, or I can tell somebody, hey, this person seems really great. Check for their application on the back end. And then it's up to them. And then it like, now it's up to what you said in your application, and then it's up to like having a great phone call, and then it's up to having a great audition like in the Zoom and everything. And nowadays self-tapes are huge. I can go on a whole tangent on self-tapes, but it's like keeping in touch with people in the casting community and knowing who we are is a great tactic. I don't see why that's a problem at all. I think,
Right.
I wouldn't bombard them with a million questions,
Right.
we're working, we
You're
can't
also
sit there and
human,
ask.
right? And
Yeah, right, exactly.
I feel like you're looked at as like people in casting are looked at as like unreachable, untouchable. And it's maybe not untouchable, unreachable, because you are you have some form of power to make or break dreams, right? Before it goes to network. So I feel like you're looked at as like, oh gosh, I can't have any flaws. I have to oil blot before I see you because you can't see me shiny. Like I
Right.
feel like you're looked at as godly, which like you kind of are. As
Well,
someone who like, watches reality TV and like clearly is trying to understand how A squared plus B squared equals C squared in your realm, like
Right.
it's interesting. Like you're human. You want
Yeah.
people to succeed. It's not as if you're there just like, I want you to fail and this is gonna make great TV to have you completely
Right.
black out.
No, exactly. I mean, I can only say, like, I started all of this, reality TV casting calls to help those people who didn't really know how to pitch themselves. But believe me, like, there's people who like hit me up and they have questions and they have all these things, and it's fine. It doesn't mean I can get back to you. It doesn't mean I have the answers. And then
Right.
when I'm working on something, it also, because everything moves on and it goes to the network, and now the decision makers are in power, we may like never find out who made the show until the cast is
Really?
announced.
Wait, so
Especially the people who aren't at the very top, like the people who aren't the casting directors and in touch with the network, they're hiring a full staff. Sometimes we have like 8 people under us who are all working on the show. And we like the cast isn't locked until they're on set filming. So even like a lot of times they'll bring out more people than they need, and then like not everybody gets on camera. Game shows all the time, you need backups.
that's why
So
there are so many
nothing-
bombshells walking into the villa because
Right. And it looks like Love Island, I think, casts like live. Like they cast like, oh, this guy likes this type. Let's like try to find it out in real life and fly them out.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure that's how they do it, because I see them casting while it seems like they're in production, which is
Right.
kind of fun and cool. But
Myth Randir, and then I think this will be our last question because we've been talking for an hour, so you just
know,
have to
yeah,
come
we know
back.
it.
People love you, Kristen.
Oh my God. Well, thank you. But it's your podcast, so they're here for you.
They're clearly they're big fans of yours. Okay, Myth Rander is asking, do you ever keep an eye on applicants that made it far in the casting process but the network rejected? Like say for a different show or next/future season of the same show? That's a great question.
Yeah, totally. I mean, so the next season of the future show might be tough because if they've been if they've gotten that far, made it to the network, and then they weren't taken, and the network doesn't specifically ask for them back, which can happen. Like on the Great Christmas Light Fight, we'll pitch families who they don't make it on a season, and then next thing you know, like I repitch them because I'm like, oh, their house just got that much better, or it like looks this much more different, or whatever. I repitch them, and then they can get on the show again. So it just depends on the show. If you make it to like the very, very, very end of Survivor, let's just say. I mean, I don't know. I can't answer that question fully, but I can say that if I'm a casting producer and I have my favorites and I know now who like didn't make it on, and I go to work on a different show with a different casting company, I'm going to reach out to my favorites to have them apply to this show. And now they have trust, because especially the first season shows like Gotta Get Out, I don't think they were calling it Gotta Get Out. They were calling it like Mysterious Mansion, or they were saying it was like something.
It was like
$1 million
Traitors, but not Traitors, right?
Yeah, it was like there was no network attached. There wasn't a real name. Nobody knew what it was. Their applicants probably weren't as big as something like Big Brother, but now it's Gotta Get Out on Hulu, and there's all these reality stars in the house with them. Like, you should have applied to that.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
So it's entrusting in the casting people who are working on it, who are saying, trust me, I know you didn't get on Survivor. I'm now working on this other one. It's going to be huge. Apply to this. And like, yeah, we will bring in people that we loved from other shows.
Okay, I love that. I think we have now been talking for an hour, and I think we need to wrap this one up. But
I agree.
I feel like every single time I have you on the pod, whether you're solo or with someone, I'm always like, okay, you got to come back. You have to come back, because you are answering so many questions, and I just think you're so insightful into this part of the industry that really they haven't really released publicly a lot of this information. And I think there's so many people out there. You don't really realize how many people out there really want to be on reality TV.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, anybody who's like 18, 19, 20 years old, like who are ripe for the picking, they've had reality TV since they were born. It's always been a part of their life. So it didn't start midlife for them. It's just been a part of their entertainment, and people turn 18 every day. We'll take those new ones. So.
Oh, Kevin,
Yeah,
what a great pod episode. Thank you so much. You're so kind.
Well, make sure you're watching all Locks of Laughs.
Yes, please watch, listen anywhere that you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple, everything. Kristen, plug everything that you want to plug right now, even though you're going to be back, because I love talking to you and the audience loves you, but plug it all. Let's go.
Thanks for having me. So, okay, you can follow me at reality_TV_casting calls on Instagram, but I think if you just Google reality TV casting calls, it comes out at the top. My name is Kristen Moss. I run KMoss Casting, so you can go to kmosscasting.com and see a little bit more about me. If you go to my Instagram link in bio, you can schedule a consultation with me. If you're looking to hire a casting director, you can schedule a free 15-minute consultation with me for that. That's also in the link in bio. Right now I'm working on podcast for WhatsApp. We're looking for people who are in WhatsApp groups. So that is like the first flyer after the seminar flyer. And you can click on that and apply there in my link in bio. I also run the American Reality Television Awards. We're currently accepting submissions for year 12. Submit.theartas.com. And I think that's it. If you want to if you work in reality TV and you want to be a member of the TV Academy, academy.theartas.com, and you get to vote and you get discounted tickets to next year's show. And if you want to sponsor the awards, just email me.
Just holler, and Kristen will appear.
Find me anyway. If you want to sponsor the awards, we're open.
Kristen, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming back on Lots of Laughs. I can't wait to have you back. I know the audience can't wait to have you back. And I'm so excited to see all of the shows that you are currently casting and break every single leg.
Aw, thank you. You too. I'm so excited to be here, and yeah, I'll be back for sure.
Oh yeah, you're coming back. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, it is
Yay, cool.
done. That was awesome. That was a great show.